Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in Hollywood, California. And I'm hooked on a feeling. Yeah.
Also here, writer-director John Schnepp.
Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? Hi. Monday.
The energy spike and dip.
Also at the table, AMC Movie News production manager Dennis Zen.
Hey guys, we were all nerding out about Warcraft and StarCraft.
We were just talking about StarCraft, Warcraft, blah, blah, blah.
How it destroyed our lives.
Yeah.
Also here, AMC's very own Mary Jetikin.
And I'm not smart enough for StarCraft. That's what I determined. I cannot play that game. I wish I could, but I can't.
Well, after a monstrous opening weekend at the box office, get it, I said monstrous, Legendary Pictures has confirmed that a sequel to Godzilla is already in the works. The film made over $93 million domestically this past weekend and has been positively received by both audiences and critics. John, is it a good idea to already be working on the next Godzilla?
Yep. Yes, yes it is. Because you want to, I've never understood this Hollywood, to some degree, but I've never understood this whole idea of, hey, you got a big successful movie with clear franchise possibilities, let's wait 3 years. Strike while the iron's hot.
Right.
Hey, look, if it works and it's good, get moving on. Now, we did a spoilers review of Godzilla, in which we all generally liked the film, but the film has some problems. But they're all problems that I believe are pretty easily fixable, that I think when the studio sits back and watches the film on the big screen, they go, yeah, we can improve that pretty easy enough. We can improve that. A good idea to get moving right away. And I think I remember last week on AMC Movie Talk, we were talking about the box office, and I believe I said, opening weekend around 90 million. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, anyway, Schnepp, you see these companies, you hear they're moving ahead with the new Godzilla. Your instant reaction?
I'm excited. I don't think they'll go Godzilla versus Monster Zero, which I wish they would, but I think that's too out there, like having the space aliens with Ghidorah and all that. But they introduced Mothra.
Yep.
They showed Mothra in that little, so I'm assuming they might bring Mothra and maybe one other creature into the second movie. And this time, just don't cut away from the action. Can you do that just only for me? Don't, every time something awesome is about to happen, don't cut away to the humans like having tea or talking about something while the awesome stuff is on the TV. It was funny the first time. I got tired of it the third and fourth and fifth time. So that's my big beef with Godzilla. Otherwise, I love the film. I loved all the sequences with the monsters, but those cutaways were just, we get it.
Right.
It was funny. Let's now actually make a real monster movie.
So Dennis, you hear they're making a new one already. Is it too soon? Should they wait to develop it, or is this the right move?
Well, hopefully they've been developing for a few months now. Because, I mean, this movie was tracking to go big.
Yeah.
They didn't know how big, but obviously it's meeting or exceeding their expectations. I hope that they haven't officially signed Gareth Edwards yet, but I'm assuming that he's coming back because he did a good job with this one. And I think a lot of the problems that you talked about, and maybe we talked about on AMC Spoilers, I think those will be rectified.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
they don't have to do that anymore. And I think the last 20 or 30 minutes of that movie prove that they can do that, let's say, throughout the movie and bring in a Mothra or a Rodan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything everyone said, and the bottom line also is just dollars. I mean, the movie made close to $100 million in one weekend. They have to do a sequel.
Godzilla's on that stripper pole.
Yeah, it's like making it rain. You know what I mean? Like it made so much money. How could they not do a sequel? So for all the reasons you just said, and also money.
All right, what's next?
A brand new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer has hit the web today in anticipation of the film hitting AMC theaters everywhere on August 1st. Leading up to the release of the trailer, Marvel put out several teasers to the trailer over the past few days. Schnepp, what do you think of the new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer?
I love it. We literally just watched it like 5 minutes before this show that you're watching live. So you probably just watched it at the same time as we did.
Yeah.
And nerded out about all the incredibly cool scenes, like, wow, the Nova Corps, there they are, just the Ronan the Accuser looks badass. Just like so many things are done right in this trailer. Obviously, we still don't know what the movie's about, which is great. It's cool with me. I don't want to know what the story's about. I've seen enough. I know they're going to do probably a third trailer we were talking about, but this looks like a fantastic, really fun science fiction film. So I'm all in. I think it's a great trailer.
Mary?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know much about the Guardians of the Galaxy universe, and I think just from a cinematic perspective, seeing all the superhero movies that are out there right now, it's kind of nice and refreshing in tone. It's funny and it's irreverent, and you have this cast of characters that are just so imaginative and so off the wall. The Rocket Raccoon character, and you have Groot, and John was explaining to me the whole I am Groot thing before we went live, and it's such a fun mythology to dive into as someone who doesn't know a lot about it. I think it's going to be such a breath of fresh air. So that trailer just made me really stoked.
Dennis, what do you think of the trailer?
Oh, I liked it a lot, especially because they kept the tone of the first one. I was worried that they were going to be like, okay, now that we have people watching this, we're going to like make it more serious and dark and but now they kept the same tone. They had, the music selection was great, and we got to hear Rocket Raccoon talk. And it gave me a kind of a vibe of the Star Trek or Firefly type of the rogues, and I don't know, maybe Chris Pratt is kind of like a Captain Kirk-like character.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was a little nervous about it because my expectations for this film are so high. Love this trailer. I like the sound of Groot's voice. I am Groot. For those of you who don't know, all Groot ever says is I am Groot. That's how he responds to everything, is I am Groot, I am Groot. But he's actually speaking his own language, which means different things. Just in English, us hearing it just sounds the same. So his name's Groot. I love that scene. It was just a very quick shot. You have to, don't blink, you'll miss it. But when Groot is like laying down with like a dandelion of some sorts, handing it to a little girl, and like hearing Rocket speak was really good. I was not a fan of the Bradley Cooper casting as the voice, but hearing it in context, like, okay, this works.
He sounds like a raccoon.
Yeah, I still don't think it needed to be Bradley Cooper. You could have gotten any really good trained voice actor to go in there that nobody knows their name to do it, and it would have been maybe even better, but I had no problems with it whatsoever. Yeah. It's funny, it feels great, the tone is wonderful, Batista looks good. I love the trailer, I really do, and I am even now more excited for this film than I was before. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for buy and sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then Dennis, Miri, Schnepp, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
While promoting his new film Expendables 3 at Cannes this week, Sylvester Stallone confirmed that the new film will be rated PG-13 as opposed to R like the previous two films. Stallone said the following: "We want to reach as many people as possible. It's very close to an R, believe me, it's right there. But I think we owe it to the next generation. We thought we'd join that club for a while." Dennis, buy or sell Expendables 3 being PG-13 instead of R?
Oh, I'm selling this. Not so much that it's going to be PG-13 instead of R, but his reasoning behind it. We owe it to the next generation. Really? Because I don't remember all these young people who are under 18 clamoring to see.
Please, give us a PG-13.
I can't see it. Expendables, like, they can see it on Netflix. The first two are on Netflix. I actually really enjoyed the second one. I didn't care much for the first one. I am a little scared because Stallone says he thought the second one was too silly, and I thought that's what was the best part about it. And so he's like, oh, we're gonna go back to the more serious, dramatic, heavier tone of the first one, and I'm like, that's the wrong way to go.
See, I took something a little bit different from his comments. The comments I took was, yeah, he felt they went too far to the silly, and I gotta admit, first of all, I really enjoyed the second one. I thought the second Expendables was much better than the first one. But my sense was he just was saying they're gonna go a little bit more towards that side, because some of the Chuck Norris jokes, for instance, they started to get so silly that it started feeling to me a little bit like an airplane movie.
Yeah, or hee-haw.
Yeah,
it felt like to me.
Yeah, like where every 5 seconds they were turning the camera and going,
yeah.
You know? So I don't mind that so much. And I don't even mind them making PG-13. Like, you can get away with a lot in movies these days. Just don't drop mother effer a lot and the stuff like that. And you can get away with a PG-13 and still make it really violent and really whatever. I think it'll be fine that way. But I'm with you, Dennis. This whole thing about, we're doing it. No, it's not because all of our collective recent R-rated movies, Escape Plan, Bullet to the Head, what's the one with Arnold again? I keep forgetting the name of it.
Last Stand.
The Last Stand. Jason Statham's last one that he just did with Dave Franco. Never mind that all of those R-rated action comedies we did have, or not comedies, action films that we did all completely bombed. That has nothing to do with it. We just want to meet that demand that people have to open up. No, it's a stupid. Anyway.
The 13-year-old demand?
Yeah, the 13-year-old demand for Expendables 3. Anyway, what do you think, Schnepp?
I'm going to sell it, but to me, it's like that's one of the reasons I liked the Expendables, especially the Expendables 2, was not the fearlessness of like saying, yeah, we're a ragtag group of 80s weirdos making a movie. It's going to be R.
Yeah.
Because that's just how we did it in the 80s. and now they're saying they're not doing it because they're doing it for the new generation
Yeah.
of people who aren't going to go see it. You're talking to the new generation of people who are going to digitally download your film for free. That's what you're basically talking about. Hey, we're doing it for those guys who torrent stuff. So I don't know. I sell it.
Mary?
I sell it because I have a whole problem with the rating system in general. I mean, Richard Linklater's film Boyhood was given an R rating, or they're saying it's going to be an R rating, and Insidious gets a PG-13. Like, I just feel like the whole thing is so messed up anyway that it's almost arbitrary. Granted, PG-13 means more people will be able to actually go see the film in theaters. When it comes to the actual content, I don't think it's even going to make such a huge difference. They're maybe going to swear more in an R-rated film, but I always have a problem with an R rating being something like, teen drug use, but it's okay to blow someone's head off and make that PG-13. I just have a problem with the whole system in general. So,
All right, what's next?
sell it.
A new image and new information about the upcoming film Minions have been released. The Despicable Me spin-off follows the Minions, who have actually been around since the beginning of time, and they live for a collective purpose: to seek out and serve the most despicable master they can find. Academy Award winner Sandra Bullock will lead the voice cast of the human characters as Scarlet Overkill, the world's reigning supervillain of the 1960s, while Mad Men star John Hamm is also attached to voice a character. Mary Byer sold this image and description of Minions.
I'm going to buy the entire package. I don't think the image is particularly exciting. It's very early days, and obviously they're not showing you too much. But I'm going to buy it as a whole because, first of all, I love the idea that they're going into the 60s and they're doing this period piece, and that John Hamm is going to be one of the voices because we all equate him with the 60s anyway. Also, the Minions are part of a universe and a franchise that has been super successful for Universal. I mean, Despicable Me 1 and 2 did really well. They already have a Despicable Me slated for 2017.
Yep.
So this is part of a growing universe. It makes sense. The Minions are very beloved. Everybody who knows them likes them. They're a cute little add-on. Hopefully the movie will have a fleshed out feeling and have enough story to carry it. And I like the voice cast, so I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to enthusiastically buy this. I'm really excited. Now, my one concern is that I have a little bit of a feeling of, what's the actor's name who was in American Gigolo, or Gigolo and...
Richard Gere?
No, sorry, not American Gigolo.
Throw me a beer.
I'm forgetting it. He's an SNL guy. He's in all the Adam Sandler stuff. You can do it. That guy.
Oh, Schneider?
Yeah, Schneider.
Schneider.
Animal.
Rob Schneider. My one fear about the Minions is that I'm a little bit worried they'll have a little bit of Rob Schneiderism, which is Rob Schneider in small doses in comedies as a small supporting character is, I think, one of the best in the business. He's hilarious when he's doing those fill-in parts, right? But then when you give him his own film, it just doesn't work. And my only fear, and I don't know if this is going to happen, the Minions are so great as a supporting thing in Despicable Me, and I love them. I'm just a little bit worried that if we get too much of them in one movie, that maybe the novelty of that will wear off. I don't know that that's going to happen at all. I'm just saying that's one of my fears. Anyway, Schnupp, what do you think?
I'm going to buy this, but I think you don't have to worry about that. It's just called the Minions, but they might as well call it Despicable Me middle something.
2.5?
Yeah, Scarlet Overkill is going to be the main character. The Minions serve as henchmen.
Yeah.
So they're never going to be the main focus. I think we'll see more pictures of them not in denim because they're saying they existed. Maybe they're helping the evil dinosaurs, and they're just like yellow pods, naked or whatever. You know what I mean? What did they wear? They didn't have denim back in the dinosaur age, in the Jurassic.
Well, maybe
age.
they did. How are we to know?
That's right.
We just
Please
don't know.
see creationism. I totally buy it. I love the Minions.
Dennis?
I buy it as well. The Minions were the best parts of Despicable Me 1 and 2. And yeah, like you said, it's they're opening up the universe so that they can keep just doing more and more. So if they've been around forever, that means after this, if this movie does well, they'll just throw back another 30 years, and that's where they're coming from. So I think it's a smart move. Yeah, as far as the poster's concerned, yeah, you couldn't tell if that was from Despicable Me 1, 2, Minions, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, what's next?
The weekend box numbers are in. Godzilla finished in first place, making $93 million domestically and almost $200 million worldwide. In second place is Neighbors, adding $25 million, bringing its total to almost $150 million worldwide. In third place is The Amazing Spider-Man 3 with $16 million. In fourth is Million Dollar Arm with $10 million on its opening weekend. And rounding out the top five was The Other Woman, making another $6 million. Schnepp, buy or sell these weekend box office numbers?
I buy it, but I sell that picture. There's like 6 robots in that photo who are not wearing the 3D goggles, so obviously they're not human. They're like, I'm using my robotic eyes to see the 3D. No, I buy it. I love hearing about movies making money. So that means more movies.
Mary?
Yeah, I buy it. I think it makes sense. I think it's understandable that Godzilla would stomp on the box office this weekend. I'm sad that $1 Million Arm isn't doing as well. I haven't seen the film, but I just, I think it was up against Godzilla. So what's it going to do as a film? And it makes sense to me. These numbers, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to buy these for a couple of reasons. Number one, Godzilla, great result for Godzilla. They've got to be extremely happy about that. Neighbors is chugging along.
Yeah.
25 million in its second week.
Yep.
It's still, I mean, I'm going to bring up the numbers right now. I think it's made just a little under 150 million
Yay for
already.
R-rated, come
Yeah,
on
R-rated.
on
Yeah.
an $18 million budget.
Yeah.
And they've already made almost
That's
150
great.
million. The $1 Million Arm, I got to tell you, making 10 million at the box office this weekend is better than I thought it would. This movie is great.
Yeah,
It's a great
okay.
film, but you could tell right away it wasn't going to have a lot of mass appeal. But trust me, if you're looking for something to see this weekend and you've seen everything else you want to see, go see the $1 Million Arm. It's a really good investment. But one of the other interesting numbers to me is about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Third week in the box office, it only makes 16 million domestically. Okay. It's made over 630 million worldwide already. So there goes all the fears that a lot of people had was, hey, if this one doesn't do so well, do you think they're going to scrap their plans for The Amazing Spider-Man 3, The Venom, The Sinister Six? They're in the black now. At 633 million, they're in the black. But I still hope that we sent a clear message to the studio because people aren't going back to watch the film multiple times. At least not large numbers of people are. People aren't buzzing hysterically positively about it, getting their other friends to go. So I'm glad that it made enough money that they're going to keep moving forward with the universe and keep giving more. But I also hope they got the message that fans are sending, saying this was a step backwards. This was a step backwards from the last one, and I hope they get that message and improve upon it as we move forward. Anyway, Dennis, you look at these results. What do you think?
I buy it as well just because I want to see Godzilla 2. And so Godzilla 1 doing well means Godzilla 2, which, hopefully will improve on the first one. Yeah, the Spider-Man one it's weird. I got a tweet, I think the other day, someone said, isn't it sad that Godzilla made more money its opening weekend than Spider-Man 2? I'm like, why is it sad?
Yeah.
it's a better movie. And so, yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2, I think it did what, kind of what we hoped, that it made enough money to make that next movie, but also for them to be concerned about maybe some of the problems it had.
Yeah, you put in the P&A and it's not in the black yet. They have to make 800 million.
No. It was about just under 200 million to produce, just under 200 million to market. It brings about 400 million minus the 30% that studios need to make. So that means to get to that 400 million, the movie needs to bank around 600 million worldwide. So with the P&A, its break-even point was around
It's like
600.
crawling towards like $4
Yeah,
profit.
exactly.
But they thought it was going to go way past.
Well, it should have if it didn't suck. So.
All right, folks, it is now time for us to go to Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every day we take a few minutes to take your questions, but if you're watching us live, and I know a whole bunch of you are, you can tweet in some questions live to @AMC Movie News. And we'll save a couple of minutes at the end of the show to address your live questions. But for now, it's time for Mailbag. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Aaron Rayo writes, my question, or more of an annoyance, is that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine character has been overly used for marketing purposes in X-Men DOFP. My question is, why? Clearly in X-Men there are bigger conflicts than the role of Jackman. It's not a Wolverine movie, it's X-Men. I might be rambling, but it's just a little annoying to see all these huge names like Sir McKellen, Patrick Stewart standing behind Wolverine. Thanks and keep up the great work.
This is an important thing to keep in mind. It's a good question, but it's important to keep this in mind. Marketing for a film is not about the actors. It's not about the egos involved. It's like, Ian McKellen deserves more respect. Screw Ian McKellen. Don't get me wrong, I love Ian McKellen. But when it comes to marketing, it's like, well, who cares? The marketing is not about giving respect to this person, respect to that person. No, marketing is just about marketing. It's not about paying respect to anybody, no matter how much you and I perceive that they deserve it, right? So you got guys like Ian McKellen and stuff like that. Well, they should be front. No. Who's the face that brings in the dollars? It's Hugh Jackman. His is the face. Remember, you brought this to my attention. I thought it was hilarious. we were talking about 12 Years a Slave.
Yes.
And there's a couple of markets, right, where the poster for 12
so
Years a
horrible.
Slave, and how much is Brad Pitt in that movie?
Like 5 minutes.
Like 5 to 10 minutes, right? And there are many markets where 12 Years a Slave, the poster is a giant Brad Pitt head with a little picture of Chiwetel Ejiofor running in the background,
Or
right?
Michael Fassbender. I saw both variant posters.
Right, so
It was
depending
like-
on who's, because it's not about, no, you owe respect to the actor. No, screw that. You owe it to try to market the film. And if Brad Pitt's face is what's going to market the film, then you put that on the poster. Hugh Jackman is the guy, Wolverine is the character. Maybe not amongst the 2% sweaty nerds like us, but for the film general audience, he's the guy who's going to sell the tickets, so that's what you do. It's not
Right.
about respect. Anyway, Dennis, how do you see this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, he's the biggest star along with Jennifer Lawrence, and they put him, he is the main role. It's not like he's like a tiny role and they decided to throw him up there. He's the main role. And I know people are complaining, like with Shadowcat, I got an argument online, and that's always smart to do with people. Someone was complaining of what we said about how, yeah, it makes sense that they made Wolverine the main character. And he's like, no, the reason they made him the main character was because Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde, they made her a younger character, Ellen Page, in the present day. So logically, she couldn't have been the character. I'm like, oh my God. You think they're going to do a $200 million movie on Ellen Page as Shadowcat for Days of Future Past? You got to be kidding me.
No.
They did it because they made it Hugh Jackman and Wolverine because he's the most popular. And that's what you said, bring in the bucks.
Yeah. Mary?
Yeah, also I was seeing posters with, there were like 3 of them, and Hugh Jackman is very front and center, but Jennifer Lawrence is right behind him. And
Yep.
Mystique is certainly not like a key figure here, but because she's Jennifer Lawrence and she's #1 on IMDb for like the last 6 years, they put her front and center in the poster too. So to your point, marketing has nothing to do with story or actors, and I think actors at that level, they know that, and I don't think there's too much of like, hey, I don't think Sir Ian McKellen is in his dressing room like, they put Wolverine in the front and it should be me. I think it's kind of arbitrary at the end of the day.
Shep?
Well, if you're going to get that upset about posters, here in LA, they do have bus stops where there's like Halle Berry and the Little Beast. So they have these variant posters that are all
over the place.
They're all
Yeah.
over the place. So, there you go. You got your wish. Wolverine's not on every poster, and they
Yeah.
have all these different variant posters, but the main posters are to sell the movie, and Wolverine is the one who goes back into the past. If you've seen the trailer, he is the actual thread that holds all of these X-Men together. So it makes sense that he's the main focus of the poster.
And we're saying like screw this. It's all about marketing. Don't lie. We're not saying they should lie.
Right.
Like don't put. Who is the girl that just did the Zero G thing? What's her name? The actress who's
Kate
in
Upton?
it. Kate Upton, right?
Sure.
Don't put Kate Upton in a bikini on the front of your poster, even though she's not in the movie. Don't be deceptive.
Right.
But sell the movie, and that's what marketing.
Or do that and lie about it, and then make several billion dollars.
As a matter of fact, the new poster
Right.
for The Death of Superman Lives What Happened
Yeah.
is just Kate
Kate
Upton
Upton.
in that Zero G claim.
Wearing a very small S.
All right, what's next?
Malcolm Rogers writes, Dear AMC crew, are any of you guys at AMC Filmmakers? If so, what films have you made and where can we see them? Thanks.
Well, there are 2 real filmmakers, one guy who has made films, and I don't know if you've got a history in this or not, but Schnepp is a filmmaker. Dennis is, a film school graduate and a filmmaker. I've done some filmmaking just to give myself the experience and understand what the behind the camera thing is, since I'm going to be on camera talking about movies all the time. You can find it. I just put a trailer for my very first documentary I ever did called Prince Peace, God of War. It's up on my Facebook page right now. I did a little film called The Anniversary, which you can find trailers for online. Dennis, you've been working on Nuclear Salvation, a web series for a
Yes.
while, and a number of other things.
Yeah, I'm working on a short film as well. It's a dark comedy, and I've done some shorts in the past. I haven't done any features. The shorts in the past, I really don't want anyone to see those. But yeah, I want people to check out Nuclear Salvation. It's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi web series.
And do you have the teaser still up online right now?
No, but you can see a short clip of it on my YouTube channel, like
Okay.
in my my welcome video. There's like a short clip of it, but I'm gonna release the whole trailer in a couple months with
Right.
the Kickstarter.
Schnepp, you've got, aside from Death of Superman Lives, which you're working on right now, you've done a whole lot of television work, too.
Yeah, a lot of television. Directed the Upright Citizens Brigade TV show for Comedy Central. Did a bunch of really crazy little shorts with Nick Offerman that I will eventually put online. And then moved into cartoons. Did a ton of like over 38, 36, 37, something like that, Metalocalypse episodes. directing those, directed Venture Brothers. So I've been directing a lot of cartoons. Over
My
the last,
biggest
like, 10
geek out
years.
moment with you, though, I remember we were running down your past, your history, is that you didn't direct them, but you worked on Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah, I edited.
Which you were the editor on that,
Yeah.
and I loved Space Ghost Coast
Yeah, that
to
was
Coast.
my first professional job. Was after doing this thing for actually my first professional job was doing the bumpers for James Bond Jr. for Cartoon Network. I did the little dude running around with like some kind of sight chasing him, and then I edited this MTV weird CD-ROM game. CD-ROM, guys, from the 90s. and then moved on to, went out to Atlanta to work on Space Ghost, and I just kept working on Space Ghost. That's why I came out here to California, because they were like, Schnepp, we need to make 22 episodes. And I was living in Chicago. Like, you want to live in LA for 6 months? I was like, yeah. So yeah, Space Ghost was a lot of fun, and I've done a lot of different stuff. So I did the ABCs of Death, which is an extreme R movie. I'm one of 26 directors, so it's not like I did the entire feature film. I'm part of. But the best thing about that is it's like a global cast of directors. There's directors from Japan, Mexico, so it's a little bit of flavor of insane horror, really gory horror for everybody. If you're a child, don't watch it. If you're a sane adult, don't watch it. But if you're nuts, watch it. So, yeah.
So a lot of experience here at the table. I'm to one degree or another, Schnepp and Dennis being the real guys. All right, folks, we said we leave a couple of minutes at the end for your questions via Twitter, and that's what we're going to do right now. Ashley's over there monitoring the Twitter stream. So, Ashley, what are people asking?
Aiden Thornby writes, "Hey AMC Movie Talk crew, what are your biggest fears for Batman versus Superman?"
Well, okay, so generally speaking, I like everything I've heard. I mean, I would have preferred, I've said this before, I would have preferred that they just focus on Batman and Superman, period. But, I don't mind adding more characters as long as you keep their roles small and expand on them later. My biggest concern right now is obviously it's the Gal Gadot situation, right? It's not like this guy that they got to play Cyborg, who no one's ever heard of him, but they got this dude from Broadway. This guy is a kid who's been training and acting his whole life and is good enough to be on stage in Broadway. So they went with talent. I'm still concerned about the Gal Gadot thing. What little stuff she's been in, she hasn't been very good. She's only been attempting to act for just a couple of years. Her whole adult career so far has been modeling and nothing else. And now to give her the most iconic female role in the history of film, like hero role at any point in the history of film, to me is concerning. I'm concerned. But that doesn't mean it can't work. Throw up a half-court shot, you'll probably miss. It's a dumb idea, but it might go in. And all I can do now is cross my fingers and hope that Zack Snyder really knocks it out of the park with her, and she gives us a great Wonder Woman. There's nothing left for me as a fan to do. But that remains to this day my number one concern about that. Why they didn't go and get a real actress for Wonder Woman is beyond me, but let's hope it works. Dennis, what would be your fear about Batman vs. Superman?
It's kind of more like along the lines of Spider-Man 2, just a lack of focus. Like just having all these moving parts. And yes, it can work, but sometimes it doesn't. Where they just like, oh, we need to cross off this off the checklist, this off the checklist. And then it becomes more about setting up a sequel than it is about telling a story. And that's, we've seen that in the past, and hopefully it doesn't happen with this one.
Schnepp, what would be your concerns?
My concerns is Jason Momoa as Aquaman. When are they going to announce that? Bam! What's up? I don't really have any concerns. I'm actually really psyched to see this movie. My biggest concern is like, will I live long enough for the 2 years? Those are my concerns. Like Star Wars, I just want to live to see Star Wars Episode 7. Then I can die. But oh wait, there's an 8th one. Yeah. No, I must live. So I hope I live long enough to see Batman versus Superman and all the friends that they chuck in there to create Justice League.
Mary?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, particularly since that Batman picture came out. Not the sad Batman meme, but the thing before.
The actual Batman
I
one,
do
yeah.
like that though, but I love the look of it. I love that they went like Frank Miller style and dark, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have any nipples. It's doing it for me. I'm happy with that. So I
I
hope.
think he has nipples under the costume.
Well, yes, but the costume itself doesn't have. I always thought that was weird.
Bruce Wayne
So-
shaves those off.
I had them replaced.
I'm excited for what the Zack Snyder feel, because I actually liked Man of Steel. I know a lot of people didn't. I really liked it. I liked the moodiness of it. And I liked that it was dark and that it was grounded in more of something real. I hope he kind of continues that feeling for this movie. But I agree with you, Dennis. I'm a little concerned that they're trying to kind of keep up with Marvel, so they might like do this mad dash to the finish line to include everything to create a big franchise,
Right.
and that might cost the film some real depth and story.
All right.
I would say, as an addition to that, but looking at what Sony did with Spider-Man, they might back up a little bit and be like,
Hope
ho
so.
ho, look,
Well,
by trying to cram so much into
Yeah.
one
It's a
movie.
little late for that. They're already shooting. So what else
Right, but
can
they
they-
could be like, hey, let's cut that scene for the DVD. You know, they could still jumble things around.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Dead James writes, who would you like to see in the X-Men movie franchise that has not been in any of the movies so far?
The only one I would say off the top of my head is Bishop, but we know he's coming in this. Bishop has been one I've been waiting to see, so I'm glad he's going to be there, and that's one for me. Dennis.
Cable. I
Yeah,
think Cable's an
Cable.
interesting character, and he fits in with the Apocalypse storyline.
Schnapp?
I would say villain-wise, I'd like to see Sauron or Mojo.
Yeah, I still want to see Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sim, but
Yeah.
I think he's coming.
I hope you're right. I
My
really
guess
hope
is
you're right.
like that those guys are all going to be in this next.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see X-Men tomorrow night. It's Wonderland. So yeah, Mary, who are you looking forward to seeing?
I don't really know the world,
Oh,
so
that's right.
I'm not really like an X-Men person. I just I hope that whoever they choose just fits in with the world in the cinematic version well.
All right.
Because they have so much to choose from.
What's next?
Ricky Williams writes, hello AMC M Talk. Could we see Dustin Hoffman reprise his role as Captain Hook in the new Pirates of the Caribbean 5 movie?
No. No.
No.
No.
What?
Remember, Dustin Hoffman was Hook in the movie Hook. Will he
But
be
that was
Hook?
a Spielberg.
I know, it was a totally different franchise.
universe, fool.
And it was 1992, and he's like 30 years older or whatever, 20.
I mean, that doesn't mean he couldn't still play Hook. It's just that, no,
He'd be a very
they're
old
not going to
Hook.
put Hook in.
And this
Pirates
is
of
this
the Caribbean.
Ricky Williams, the football player?
I was going to ask, is this the former running back of the Canadian Football League and the NFL? Okay. All right, what's next?
Michael Parker writes, from the many comic book movies out there, what are some of your favorite scenes?
Oh, that's not one you can't answer that off the top of your head. That's one I'd like to sit down for a half hour and really think them out. There's lots in the X-Men, lots in the Avengers. I mean,
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight's got great ones too. No, it's like, what are your 20 favorite cinematic shots?
Yeah.
And put them in order.
Right.
Descending order.
Off the top of my head,
Right
I
now.
love in Batman Begins when he first tries out the tumbler in that
Oh,
underground room,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like driving it, and he's like, how much is this? I want it. Like, I love that part, but that's just off the top of my head. I don't know.
Off the top of my head, I'm Batman.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Dave Coca writes, what are your thoughts about theaters in Canada charging an extra $2 to $3 a ticket to sit in the middle section of a theater?
I got to be very careful how I answer this. And it's some theaters in Canada, they're like, for prime, look, if you go to anything that requires you to have seating, whether it's on an airplane, you want the best seats, you pay a higher price.
Yeah.
If you go to a concert, you want the closer seats, you pay a higher price. You go to a football game, you want to sit right behind the bench, you pay a higher price. Same as in everything. So in general, the concept of paying a premium price for the best seat in the house, in other words, you're paying less than that guy behind you. If you walk into the theater a little bit late and you got to sit in the nosebleed seat or in the seat where you're going to break your neck looking up, there's something to that. But I'm only okay with it if you're going to then slightly reduce the prices of the poorer seats. Like if you're charging I think the average price in the United States right now is like $7.50. So if you're going to charge $7.50 for a ticket, if somebody's got to sit in that front row and do this, charge them 50 cents less, charge them $1 less.
What about
That's
the
only way
front
I'm
row
okay with it.
all the way to the left where you're basically
like
looking at a
this.
trapezoidal screen? Your neck is breaking and the screen looks like really weird.
And hopefully a lot of theaters nowadays, they
awful.
back their seats
do.
up from the screen,
A lot
so
of them
even
do.
those aren't terrible anymore,
Right.
but still they're the worst seats in the house. In theory, I'm okay as long as, while you're increasing the price for some seats, as long as you're decreasing the price for some of the others. But like I said, this is not my field of expertise, so I don't want to babble too much. And you guys, any input at all?
I mean, as a movie goer, of course, I don't want the ticket prices to increase, but to your point, I think it makes sense. We have to pay a premium for things that are better. That's just life.
Well, listen here, you Canadians. Here in America, we just have a flat fee for all the seats, but you can get an assigned seat if you get there early. I don't know how they do these things here in Canada. You Canadians can answer that.
We just heard John Schnepp's real voice. This whole time he's
doing a
been
fake
he's been a
accent.
character,
That's right.
and that's his real
My
voice.
script, yeah, I'm off script right now.
Okay, let's do one more real quick.
Okay, Savannah Hill writes, greetings from Kansas. What is a movie genre you want to see more of?
Ooh, I know that.
I want to see more mystery films. Like seriously, the last number of years, I feel like there's been a real dip in the amount of like really good mysteries. Not ones that don't show you what happens in the beginning and then you just follow the detective as the detective tries to figure it out. But I'd like to see good mysteries, Naz.
Sci-fi. I mean, they're starting to because of visual effects, but maybe 10, 15 years ago, they weren't doing much sci-fi. So.
Shut up.
Yeah, I was going to say like film noirs and science fiction, pretty much a similar bent. Like I love old film noirs. I'm not saying like what's going, back with the fedoras, but
What's
just
wrong
like
with that?
Nothing. But I'm saying maybe like a bunch of new kind of adult suspense thrillers would be awesome.
Mira, what do you want to see more of?
Well, it won't happen because they just don't make money, but I would love to see some really good classic westerns come back. There aren't that many, and even like 3:10 to Yuma I really loved.
yeah.
And
I love 3:10 to Yuma.
I don't think it did that well from my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like
It did okay.
Did it do okay? Yeah. I just feel like people don't make them because they don't typically perform, and it's too bad because I love westerns.
Right.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. Thanks so much for joining us today on this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Don't forget, lots of great films playing in AMC theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. If you'd like to listen to an audio-only podcast of this show, look in the description of this video, and you'll find links to our iTunes and our Stitcher Radio. Little plug, don't forget, if you're a Star Wars fan, tomorrow on Tuesday, we're going to be broadcasting our AMC Jedi Council show live, all Star Wars all the time, and then that show will then be put up on the YouTube channel on Wednesday. And make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the thumbs up button. I want to thank the people sitting at this table with me. First of all, starting to my left, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero and on YouTube ThinkHero Pro.
And to my right, Miss Miri Jedikin. Miri, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miri the Jedi.
And beside her, the one and the only Mr. John Schnepp from Chicago. Where can people find you?
Not in Chicago anymore. At Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp. And check out The Proposition. That's an awesome
That's a good
That's
one,
one of
too.
my favorite ones.
Very
Yeah,
good
Guy
one.
Pearce.
Very
A lot
good
of
call.
just was under the radar, so check that out.
And of course, our lovely host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Ashley Mova. Have a good one, guys.
And you can find me at the various social media networks, just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.